Hey lovelies, this is Cookie and you're listening to Monster Unleashed, a podcast that will bring you author spotlights, news on the latest book releases, and so much more. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hey lovelies, thank you for joining in on Cookie Jar Unleashed. This is the first official episode. I am super excited. This has all been a dream. I had wanted to start a podcast last year, however, due to personal reasons and honestly my nerves, I was super scared to start a podcast. I was like, how do I do it? Will people want to listen? What material will I want to use? So on and so forth. However, I decided to take the plunge and here we are. So again, thank you for tuning in and I really appreciate the support. On today's show, we're going to discuss new releases and pre-orders in different genres, not just romance. I write romance, but however, I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, so that is why I have a very good friend of mine who will be joining us on the show later on, and she writes horror suspense, so look forward to that. Alright, before we get to our author spotlight, we do have some new releases. Yesterday, A Delicate Proposition by Lane Daniels went live. It is a serial killer anti-heroine romance. Sold to the Pirate by Fern Fraser also went live yesterday. That is an insta-love, possessive man, steamy short read. And today, Defending My Heart by Barbara Campbell went live. Happy release day, Barbara. Her book is a steamy contemporary romance. Coming up on May 31st, Rescue Me by Mia Brody. That is an insta-love short read. And then some new releases that released within the last 30 days. We have Forbidden Muse by Alana Winters, a Rockstar Mafia. Easy Surrender by Nicole Rose, a military romance. Also, let's see here. I know I said I wasn't gonna just do romance. It just so happens that those are the new releases. So put down your pitchforks. Alright, available now. We have Last One Standing by Ellie Decay, a romance suspense thriller. I've actually read that book. It is so good. Unexpected Tides by Crystal St. Clair, a small town unexpected romance. Yesterday's Stars by J. Truesdell, a paranormal suspense romance. The Witch's Debt by Edward Rollin is a contemporary fantasy. I've actually read that book, you guys. It is so good. One of my favorite characters of all times is in that book, and his name is Virgil. And you guys have to buy the book, okay? Buy the book and find out who he is, and you're gonna see why I absolutely love him. There is a little bit of romance in that book, but it's not overkill with romance. So if you're not down with romance, but you can tolerate it, totally get that book, The Witch's Debt by Edward Rollin. Also on my list, I have Crave by Crystal Lin. It's an erotic romance. This book is super naughty. So if you are vanilla, no, you will blush. So if you like the hotter, the better, then Crave by Crystal Lin is definitely, you need to add it to your to-be read list or read it right now. Let's see what else we have here. We have Amber's Discovery by Mara J. That one is a sci-fi reverse harem romance. The Lost Fae by T.M. Lees. That is a fantasy. The Orphan Train Romances by Laura Stapleton. That is an American Western. The Wizard Queen by T.M. Lees. That is a romance. And finally on my list, we have some dark stories. We have The Demon's Angel by Ginger Ellenberg. I will be reading that one a little bit later, a little snippet from it. That book is so dark. It definitely has triggers, but we'll get into that more later. We have Fading Dawn by J. Truesdell. That one is a zombie book. That book is so good. So if you like zombies, you like darkness, that's definitely the book you want to grab. And finally, we have Whispered Deceit, also by Ginger Ellenberg. That book, you have been warned. Triggers galore. So if you like the darker the better, then you definitely want to go ahead and grab that book. That concludes Book Spotlight. However, that does not conclude the show. After this brief commercial break, we'll be right back. Welcome back, lovelies. It is now time for the author spotlight. Like I said, I do know this author. She is a very good friend of mine. I know that you guys are going to really enjoy her, and if you give her books a read, you're going to enjoy those just as much. Now, due to COVID and gas prices and the price of plane tickets, unfortunately, she wasn't able to come to my house. However, that didn't stop us from getting a great interview with her. She was a little nervous, but I told her she did amazing. So, without further ado, I give you our guest author.
I'm Ginger Ellenberg, and I'm from a small town in Arkansas, literally a population less than 200 people, so it's that small. We know everybody's business if we want to be in it, but I don't want to be in it.
And what made you decide to be an author?
I became an author at a very young age to escape reality because, I just needed an escape. Let's just leave it at that.
That is understandable. Say no more with that. Can you tell us what genre you write or what genre you prefer to write?
I write mostly paranormal, suspense, thriller. I have been talked into writing romance by Cookie.
She's trying to throw me under the bus, but what she's not saying is how she's so good at writing romance. Just saying.
But it's not my favorite. Horror, psychological thrillers is really what I like doing because I can relate to how they feel, I guess you can say. Even though I'm not going out and killing people. I don't do that.
Well, on behalf of myself and society, thank you for not doing that. We appreciate that. Oh, you crack me up. What would you say to new authors that the hardest part about being an indie author is?
The hardest part about being an author is sitting down and writing because there's always an excuse of why. Do I really need to do it right now? I can put it off for later. Oh, what if I get on social media? It's always something. So the hardest part for me is sitting down and doing it.
As an indie author, I support that message. Procrastination is the devil. So besides, once you do get started, do you have an all-time goal or something you really, really want to see happen to your author career?
My dream goal for being an author is getting noticed. Just somebody reading my books, and letting me know, hey, I read your book, I liked it, I didn't like it, I liked this about it, but I didn't really dig that. So that's my dream, is for somebody to let me know that they actually read the book.
I think that is an amazing goal. I have read your work and I think you're amazing, so keep up the good work. When you're not writing, what are you doing? What do you do in your spare time?
When I'm not writing, I'm on social media. Hey, let's be real. I'm on social media or taking photos or playing with my dog, Gypsy.
Okay, one, I like to point out the social media being in the background. That was not on my side. So she's not lying about social media. Her dog Gypsy is amazing and cute. If you're not following Ginger on social media, you really need to. She posts the cutest videos of Gypsy and she takes the best photos. She's also a photographer, so just a side note there. Ginger, do you enjoy reading or do you just prefer to write?
I enjoy reading. I really do enjoy reading. I have a library in my house. It's not really a library, but I call it a library because there's books on all 4 walls. Stephen King is my favorite. Anne Rice is second. I don't like reading what I'm writing, and that's what I'm reading now is what I'm writing. So if it's too close to what I'm writing, I skip away from it.
That's understandable. That makes complete sense to me. When I'm writing paranormal romance, I prefer not to read paranormal romance. I prefer to read mafia romance, stuff like that. So I totally understand that. Let's think. What other questions? So where in the world would you rather be? Anywhere in the world, where would you want to be?
Home. I don't like people. Well, I like people. I just don't like being out in public with people. Because they talk or whatever. I'm not a people person. I'm barely a me person.
And see, this is one of the many reasons that I love Ginger. She is so candid, and she really is the sweetest. She really is. I've been lucky, I guess, since apparently she doesn't like people. But that's okay, because we like her, so Okay, how about you tell us one of your books that you really, really, really enjoy?
The one book that I really like of my own would have to be, oh my god, there's so many. I really like Killian's Pass. I really do, because it's like, what if you marry into the wrong family? What would happen if you married into a family and it's like your dream family, and then you moved into his house and then bad things happen? Like, they're not the people you thought they were, but you don't find out until it's too late. The other one I like is The Demon's Angel, because, I mean, it's demons. It's a dark paranormal romance, and I didn't find that out till today. It is adult content. If I had to give trigger warnings for The Demon's Angel, it would be that it's a dark paranormal romance. There is blood. There is physical abuse, knife play, I guess. Yeah, it's got violence in it, so just be prepared.
Alright, lovelies, you have been warned. Ginger, where can we find this book and your other books?
You can find all my books, or basically every one of them, anywhere books are sold.
That is awesome. So, lovelies, be sure after this to head over to all major ebook stores and grab a copy of Ginger Ellenberg's books. Ginger, is there anything else that you wanted to let the listeners know before you had to go?
Let me tell you about Kindle Vella. I have stories on Kindle Vella. I have one that is completed, and it's Tormentor. Now this one I advertised in a horror Vella group on the Book of Faces, and I was told that it was too much. Like, it's too much. A horror author, reader, person told me it was too much. So yeah, there's your trigger warning. It's about a serial killer, and it's mostly told from his point of view, that advertises things on the marketplace that he doesn't have, and then he picks and chooses from the ladies that answer, and then he falls in love with one of them. His crazy idea of love, and things go from bad to worse, and he eventually really loses his mind. And it's a short little horror story that's got a little bit of brutality in it. So if that's something you like, it is Amazon Kindle Vella. First 3 chapters are free. So thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye, Ginger. Thank you so much for being my first guest. Also, thank you for being an amazing friend and doing this for me. You guys, she did amazing. She was so nervous. I was too, though, because like I said, this is the first podcast. However, Ginger did amazing. Alright, so now I'm going to read part of her book, The Demon's Angel. However, are you alone? Are your headphones in? Is the volume turned down? If you said yes and you would like to hear a sneak peek, well, here we go. The Demon's Angel by Ginger Ellenberg. Chapter 1. I can't do this anymore. What are you talking about? Sex? You can't have sex with me anymore? Her nails raked lightly down his side, causing his skin to tighten, and he suppressed a shudder. No, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired of the lies, the sneaking around, the secrets. Her laughter was as cold as the hand resting on his hip. You had a choice, remember? I gave you the option to end this before it even got started. This was your choice. Tensing his body, Eric looked down at his bare feet and swallowed against the bile that burned the back of his throat. I didn't know it would be like this. I didn't understand the price I'd have to pay. His eyes followed her as she slid down to her knees, and he hissed out a breath of pain and self-loathing when her teeth sank into his inner thigh. Her eyes closed and she moaned in ecstasy as she cupped her hand between her legs, her arm pumping ferociously as she swallowed the blood that rushed into her mouth. Leaning down, Eric pushed her head away, breaking her hold on him, and stepped back, his hand covering the open wound. Why do you keep doing that? Wiping her lip with her thumb, she looked down at the blood coating it and slowly got to her feet. Her tongue darted out and caught the drop of blood before it could fall to the floor. You don't get it, do you? You belong to me. I can do whatever I want. His lip curled into a